Good afternoon everyone, this is AJ back again for the second part of my Punisher comic series walkthrough, showing the covers, what they look like. In the last video I'd done, part 1, we looked at the Punisher Volume 1, the mini-series, plus Punisher Volume 2, which ran for 104 issues before being cancelled. So today I'm going to look at the Punisher War Journal and Punisher War Zone for part 2 of this video. Now, Punisher War Journal and War Zone both run concurrently with the Volume 2 of the Punisher, the 104 issue series, culminating in a storyline that crossed over all 3 titles at the very end, which took all 3 up to their cancellation. We'll come to the reasons for that cancellation a little bit later, towards the end of the video. But so kicking off, issue 1 of Punisher War Journal. That's the cover there. This was, like I said, this was a 1988 release, November cover date. So the latter part of November 1998, we got the Punisher's second ongoing series, Punisher War Journal. Now, the first thing we notice about the difference between Punisher and Punisher War Journal is the very first Punisher series has had very few comic book guest stars in it, other than Daredevil was in about issue 10. There wasn't many guest starring characters. Punisher War Journal, you find there will be a lot more, as in case in point issue 2, obviously Daredevil guest starring. Then we have issue 3, again guest starring Daredevil. Issue 4. This series had some nice covers. Issue 4 and issue number 5, To the Death. Now, issue number 6, this was quite a big two-parter of a story. Part 1 of a 2-part saga, guest starring everyone's favourite mutant, Wolverine. This was the first time the Punisher and Wolverine ever met up, crossed over in a comic book series. It was also released in a, that's part 2, Jim Lee art. It was also released in a sort of prestige format, square-bound book. I remember that story being very good. So that was issues, 6 and 7 they were. Next up, issue number 8. Nice cover there. What you do notice about the way the Punisher's drawn is he's a lot leaner than what he became later on for a while. So yeah, and the guest starring continues. Black Widow, guest starring in that issue. That's issue 9. Then issue number 10. And issue 11. Get ready for shock treatment. Issue 12, Bushwhacker villain, and issue 13. These are all still Jim Lee drawn covers. Very good artist. Still very good today, and head honcho, I believe, of some. Is it DC? I'm not sure, entirely sure. Someone tell me. I'm not that keeping up with it that much now. Again, guest star in Spider-Man. So the guest stars continue. Guest star in Spider-Man again, issue 15. We have issue 16. Punisher takes a vacation. Hawaii will never be the same, in issue 17. 18. 19, and issue 20. Okay, that's the first 20 issues. Issue 21, 22, 23, 24. That noise you keep hearing is just where the tape on the back starts sticking to the one on the front a bit, because these have been boxed for a long time. Haven't seen them. That was issue 24. Punisher's Family Unearthed, the Sicilian Saga, part 1 of 3. The Sicilian Saga, part 2 of 3, issue 26. Scuba Diving Lessons. And the Sicilian Saga, part 3. That was issue 27, sorry. Issue 28. And issue 29, continuing the crossover trend. The Ghost Rider. That looks like that's the Danny Ketch version of the Ghost Rider by the looks of it. Another good character. Issue 29. Issue 30. Ghost Rider again, 2-part story. 31. Is that Joe Jusko? Yep, Joe Jusko covers. He used to do a lot of trading cards as well, I believe. Joe Jusko again. Quite good. And again, Joe Jusko. And issue 34, not Joe Jusko. Issue 35. Now issue 36, interesting cover, because it's actually a photo of a wedding cake. Punisher atop, mob family members, dead below. If there be any man opposed, let him open fire now. That's issue 36. Issue 37. '38. '39. And issue 40. Issue 41, John Romita Jr. cover. Great artist. Love John Romita Jr. He did go on to bring us the start of Punisher Warzone. He was the artist on that, which we'll get to. Punisher Warzone 42. Again, John Romita Jr. And issue 43, John Romita Jr. And now issue 44 with a great... I remember drawing this picture myself when I was in school. Copying it and drawing it. I thought that was a brilliant cover. Home Sweet Home, John Romita Jr. Oh, that's a great picture. I love that. Just brings back a lot of memories. That picture, yeah. John Romita Jr. Obviously his father helped create, John Romita Sr. helped create the Punisher originally in the offset in that Amazing Spider-Man 129. Issue 47 with the trend again of guest stars, Daredevil, and is that I'm not sure who that is. It might be Nomad next to him. I may be wrong. I'm not going to open it up and have a look. Issue 48. 49. And issue 50. Which does have some embossing to the Punisher himself. On that issue 50 cover. And issue 51. I've put them on the floor, bear with me. Okay. Issue 52, Nam flashback. Punisher invades the Nam. Do have them comics. 53. Incoming. And Frank versus the family. His family is dead. Theirs will be soon. Issue 54. 55. Bad to the Bone. 56. Issue 57. Again, like I said, crossovers. Ghost Rider, Daredevil. Again. 58. Ghost Rider, Daredevil. 59. A Vigilante and His Dog. Issue 60. John Wick, Eat Your Heart Out. Here we go. Now we start in part 1 of Suicide Run, which I spoke about in the first issue. This is a story where Punisher was presumed dead. I believe he was trapped in like I don't know, trapped in something, and a load of wannabe Punisher wannabes continued his what he'd started, and these people, most of them were ill-equipped. Yeah, so metallic cover to that. Issue 61. Then we have Suicide Squad issue 62 with that's obviously, these are both characters that took up the mantle of Punisher. Lynn Michaels, I believe her name was. She was a female. She was a copper as well. Suicide Run Part 7. There you go, he's trapped in something there. And Suicide Run Part 10. I do have the graphic novel with Suicide Run, where it's all collected in one. 65, Pariah Part 1. Moving it back so I'm aware there's a reflection. Pariah Part 2, 66. Pariah Part 3, The Predator Becomes the Prey. No, not the Yautja. And Pariah Part 4, guest starring everyone's favourite web slinger, Walker Spider-Man. Face Off with Death, Pariah Part 5. And issue 70. The Punisher, final entry. Have you seen this man? Cool Vigil. Issue 71. Have Gun, Will Travel. Punisher, final entry. If you didn't know better, you'd think they were on a running down. They knew they were getting cancelled. Punisher, final entry. Issue 72. And Punisher, final entry. 73. Punisher War Journal, issue 74. And because you demanded it, Lynn Michaels is the Punisher. Punisher, 75th, double-sized issue. I remember back in the day, shortly after this series, there was talk of a Punisher TV series then, and they were looking at actually creating it. It may have only just been rumour, speculation, but creating it with Lynn Michaels as opposed to Frank Castle. Punisher War Journal issue 76, Lynn Michaels. She was quite a good character actually. Lynn's worst nightmare comes to life. Punisher War Journal 77. Punisher War Journal 78, Lynn's Last Stand. And last two issues, Punisher War Journal issue 79, part 3 of Countdown. And issue 80, the final issue at which point it got cancelled. Punisher War Journal Countdown, part 0. So that's the final part of essentially the 3 Punisher series, and when they crossed over at the end. So obviously next up we're going to go into the War Journal, Punisher War Journal. That was a series that started in about 1992. It ran for 41 issues, and again, like I said, cancelled at the same time as the Punisher and the Punisher War Journal. Again, at the end, we'll get into the reasons as to why. So, issue 1, John Romita Jr. back, drawing. Always a pleasure when he draws the Punisher. This was a die-cut cover, so that's a hole there, and a couple of bullet holes. This was that era where comics were doing silly covers. So that's issue 1 of Punisher Warzone. Issue 2, John Romita Jr. again. And Punisher issue 3. Warzone issue 3, sorry. John Romita Jr. Issue 4. Issue 5. So he does some fantastic covers. And now it's War issue 6. Blade. So it looks like, no, maybe not. No, it's not Blade, sorry. I mistook a bit of his dribble for Fangs. I say it's been a long time since I've ever read these. A long, long time. I should reread them. 7 against 1, fair fight. Hey, just look at that. Look at that picture. John Romita Jr. is a god of an artist on the Punisher. Probably my favourite Punisher artist. That was issue 7, sorry. That was John Romita Jr.'s last cover. Issue 8. Although they obviously did go for an artist who quite similar, who gave you that sort of flat nose look. And issue 10. Issue 12. Issue 13. Issue 14. Issue 15. During these 3 series, this is where the Punisher was at the height of his popularity. Issue 16. 17. 18. End of the line. But not for the series. Issue 19. Guest starring Wolverine. Issue 20. Return Fire. 21. Red Eyes. What's that about? Issue 22. Red Eye Punisher. Gets a doctor with eyes like that if you've got red eye. Issue 23 is part 2 of the Suicide Run story with a gold metallic colour. And issue 24, part 5 of Suicide Run. Issue 26, sorry, that's 24, this is issue 25, Suicide Run part 8. '26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. River of Blood, part 1 of 6, Punisher Warzone, issue 31. 32. Joe Kubert cover. River of Blood part 3, which is issue 33. River of Blood part 4, issue 34. And issue 35. Joe Kubert cover again here on issue 36, the conclusion of River of Blood. Straight to the max. Mark Texeira cover. Mark Texeira, another great comic book artist from that era. I believe he did do the first run of the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. Mark Texeira, he was pretty good. Probably went over to Image, I'm guessing. I'm sure he did, if I recall. Dark Judgment part 1 of 3. Punisher issue 38. Issue 39. Issue 40. Did I say this ran for 40 issues? It ran for 40, or did I say 41? That's the final issue. Issue 41. Countdown part 2. So that concludes this second part of this video. Concludes looking at the 3 original Punisher runs. Punisher War Journal, Warzone. Like I said, the Punisher at the time, he was at the height of his popularity. I mean, he was guest starring in every other comic book, and he was a good polar opposite as a character to what other characters were, because of his darkness and his willingness to kill. So he was utilised quite a bit. There was a 4th series that run at the same time as these, called the Punisher Armory, which ran for 10 issues. It was basically like Guns and Ammo, comic book drawn book with had no speech bubbles or like generally it was like pictures of weapons and his training tactics and arsenal, with his faults written up above, or you know what I mean. I do have them. I'm not going to show them. They're boxed somewhere. I've got loads of boxes with comics in, like I've been collecting for 30 years, so they're buried away, and looking for them would be like looking for the Ark of the Covenant at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's pretty much like that. Also, at this period in time, the Punisher was getting loads of prestige format, square-bound one-offs. There was a lot of them. I've got all them as well. Again, this is just primarily for the series. I might dig them out at some point and find it and do that as an add-on. But yeah, so the problem with Marvel and what they did with the Punisher was they were onto a good thing with a character, so let's milk it for all it's got. Let's give him 3 separate comic book series at the same time until the interest in the character wanes and we end up cancelling all 3 books. The cancellation didn't last long. The Punisher did come back a short while later in a new book simply titled Punisher. We'll get onto that in the next video. and I'll show you covers for them, plus what came after that, thankfully for a short time, which was a very dark time for the character. They tried something new, it failed epically. I do have them. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. We'll get into that, and I'll criticise that then. But yeah, so anyway, this is AJ signing off. Thank you for watching. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. If you want to have a chat, I'll reply to comments. Let's get into it. Tell me, do you like the Punisher? Do you dislike the Punisher? I'm happy to talk about the films. Anything you want. I'll answer questions. Please leave a comment if you like. And hopefully I'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much for watching, and take care of yourself. Have a good afternoon. Goodbye.